At some point in your business, you may decide you need to hire some help. Maybe you're doing this part-time, you're still working your full-time job, or maybe the business just starts growing enough where you need an extra hand or two on deck. And one of the best ways to get that help is by hiring a virtual assistant or a VA. So I wanted to invite on Anna Michaela, who's going to talk to you about the process of hiring a virtual assistant. Now, a lot of times virtual assistants, they can come from the US if you're based in the US, but a lot of times they come from other countries like the Philippines or Pakistan or other parts of Asia where the labor is a little bit cheaper. And they can do some amazing work for you and take some of the load off you. So if you decide to go down that route and actually hire someone to help you out, Anna's got some really cool techniques and some really cool things to think about when you're hiring them and how the process works and some of the things to ask and so on. Now, one thing I recommend you never outsource is your product actual ideation. So I recommend you or your partner actually keep that to yourself, but a lot of the other tasks, it could be from bookkeeping to doing some of the research or the keyword research or checking up on the competitors or keeping some of your Excel spreadsheets in order. All those kinds of things are great projects for a VA. So welcome Anna and let them know what the process is like to hire a VA.
Hi, everybody. My name is Anna Santiago. I'm the COO of Outsource School. Just a little bit about me. I've been working remotely from the Philippines for about 10 years now, and I manage a team of over 15 virtual assistants for Outsource School. Today's presentation will go over frequently asked questions about virtual assistants and how you can use virtual assistants to scale your business. Some of you may not know them, but Nathan and Connor are the CEOs of Outsource School. They used to own a business that they sold a couple of years ago for 8 figures, and that business was completely run by virtual assistants. And when you think about it, it's really awesome to think of your business being outsourced completely and run by virtual assistants halfway across the world, but it is possible. So today we'll go through some of these questions and you'll see some of the reasons why this is possible. So the first question is, what part of the world should you hire VAs from? We always recommend you start hiring from one place. Don't start hiring 5 from the Philippines, 5 from Colombia, 5 from India. It's just not gonna work because they all have different cultures. Well, at least at first, master hiring from one country first before you start hiring from other countries. We're not saying that it's not possible, or we're not saying that we're totally against it, but start from one place so that their culture is the same. You build a cohesive team. And then once you've mastered how to manage those virtual assistants, you can start adding people from anywhere in the world, basically. But our top recommendation is starting from the Philippines. And I'm not biased. It's just that Nathan and Connor have years of experience with hiring from the Philippines, and it works best for them. They've spent 10 years mastering outsourcing, and the Filipino virtual assistants work best for them. And that's how they were able to get their business 100% run by VAs. That's 98% just in the Philippines. All right, so why the Philippines? One is the time zone. So Filipinos are used to working the night shift. If you're in Eastern time zone, we're exactly 12 hours apart from each other. So that means your VAs have to work the night shift, and Filipino VAs are used to working that. It's because one of the biggest companies, or a lot of the companies in the Philippines, are BPO companies, telemarketing companies, call centers, tech companies that cater to the US, the UK, Australia, things like that. So they are used to working different time zones. So that's not going to be an issue at all. Another one is their communication. VAs from the Philippines learn English from when they start school. So they learn it as their second language. They learn to communicate at a high level with English. I'm not saying all of us have great, amazing English, but a lot of the VAs that you find who have experience, if you're looking for VAs on the right platforms, then communication will be good. Another thing is the culture. The culture is very similar. The Filipino culture, we generally are hardworking, respectful, passionate, fast learners. So that's who we genuinely or generally are, I should say. We are very family oriented. I mentioned passionate earlier because we would do anything to be able to provide for our families. If it means learning different skill sets just to have the opportunity to work for a good company with a good rate, then we will, of course, do that. One thing I want to share about people in the Philippines is the daily average wage here in the Philippines is about $12 to $15 a day. And that's if you work in bigger companies like call centers and BPOs. Other businesses, local businesses in the Philippines pay even less. And that is not very much. We don't have room for a emergency trip to the hospital. We don't have much savings. So when the pandemic hit, you can just imagine how chaotic it was for people here in the Philippines. But my point there is why I shared that story with you is why that is one of the reasons why we became virtual assistants, is to give ourselves a better life. Being a VA opens so many opportunities for us, and it helps us provide for our children and, brighter future for our children. So that is why we're so passionate about becoming virtual assistants, and we would do anything for our clients if it means that we will be given a better opportunity. One more thing that I wanted to share with you guys is the standard rate for VAs in the Philippines. For general work, it actually depends on the role, but you can find great virtual assistants in the $5 to $10 range. So it's much cheaper than hiring an assistant from the US or any other place in the world. Some may ask, what is the difference between virtual assistants and personal assistants? Really, there is no difference, right? And it's just a virtual relationship, but you can still build great relationships with your virtual assistants. I will get into that a little bit later. So the next question is, what should I hire VAs for and what I should not hire VAs for? There are 3 types of virtual assistants: the followers, the doers, and the experts. The followers are there to follow your systems and processes in place. So some types of followers are your customer service representatives or your general virtual assistants, right? They follow your systems and processes. They help you manage your operations. And then we have the doers. These are the people that you don't necessarily have to teach them how to do their jobs. Social media managers, web developers, graphic designers, video editors, content writers. You don't need to teach them how to write, right? Okay, so those are the doers. The experts are people that come into your business, agencies, coaches, consultants that you hire to come into your business and change things. So of course, you don't need to teach them how to do their jobs, but they're not there to follow your systems and processes. They're there to implement new ones to make your business better, like marketing agencies, for example. So we got the followers, the doers, and the experts. You can hire virtual assistants for almost anything in the business. Bookkeeping. I mentioned a few like social media and creatives. We also have partnership management and affiliate management. You have your team lead, your project manager, did I say bookkeeping? I think I did. And your sales representatives, your onboarding specialists. You can outsource anything that you can do remotely from your computer. If you can do it from your computer, a virtual assistant can do it. So there is not much difference between a VA and a PA, right? So one thing that people tend to ask is, can I hire a virtual assistant part-time or should I hire them full-time? Let me talk about that just a little bit. Yes, you can hire VAs part-time, 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week. That is absolutely fine. The only risk of hiring virtual assistants part-time is that they will need to also apply to other clients to fill their hours. This is their income, their source of living. So they need to make sure that they work a good amount of hours. So you might have to share them with other clients. But if they dedicate the 5 or 10 hours a week to you, there shouldn't be a problem. Another problem there is if they prove to be rock stars and you want to increase their hours with you, you may not be able to because they have other clients, but there are always workarounds there. Sometimes it just takes asking them, hey, you want to come work full time with us? What will it take for you to drop your other clients and come work? Sometimes it's just a raise or a bonus. Sometimes they really want to work with you if they build relationships with you and if they love your company culture, they will drop everything just for the opportunity to work with you if they had a good experience. So things you can hire VAs for just at part-time to start is for daily, weekly monthly repetitive tasks. Maybe you want to start small and have just a virtual assistant come in 1 or 2 hours a day just to clear your inbox of spam and let you know what important emails you have there. Maybe you need them to just schedule certain appointments for you. Maybe you just need them to schedule content for your social media an hour a day. It can start small, but to help you decide what to outsource first, you gotta create a couple of lists. Okay, so the first list will be, like I mentioned, the things you do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. These things can take up a ton of your time, especially if you have 3,000 emails that you didn't even open yet. Okay, so that's the first list, the things that you do on a regular basis, whether it's daily, weekly, or monthly. The second list is for things you might not necessarily know how to do yourself, like video editing or graphic design or social media management. And those are the things that you can focus on outsourcing maybe just a little bit later. But going back to the first list, you'll notice that the first list is mostly operations tasks. And then the second list is marketing tasks. Most of the time, it works out that way. And the first list is the tasks or responsibilities that you can easily outsource, the easiest things to take off your plate, right? So focus on that first list and free up 5, 10, 20 hours of your week. And some things that I like to tell some of our members at Outsource School or some clients that I've spoke to in the past is for $5 to $10 an hour, and you get back 2, 3, 4 hours of your day, and think about how much your time is worth as well. Is your time worth less than $5 to $10 an hour? You got to get yourself to start working on your business instead of working in your business. And some of those things you don't need to work on, those repetitive daily tasks, those menial tasks, get it off your plate. I'm telling you, it's going to be life changing. Okay, so there is a ton that I want to talk about, but we really don't have much time. So I'm trying to jam pack this presentation to give you the most value out of it. The next question is, how much do VAs cost? Can I afford it? So yeah, we did talk about this a little bit earlier. $5 to $10 per hour is a good average. Let me explain a little bit about the rate differences. For general assistance and customer service and easy responsibilities to fill, 5 to 10 is a good range. But when you're talking about skilled tasks like video editing, graphic design, social media, content writing, those tasks tend to be, or those VAs skills tend to be a little bit more expensive, within the $7 to $12 range, maybe up to 15, depending on their skill set. But it's still more affordable than getting someone skilled in those areas if you hire from the US. Okay, so if you're not quite sure about what your budget is for hiring virtual assistants and you're really interested to find out, there is a great VA calculator. It's a sheet that helps you, put in how much your business is making on a monthly or yearly basis and how aggressive you want to be in hiring, and it helps you compute everything. Also gives you an idea about how many virtual assistants you could hire for a specific rate or budget. Okay, so how do you get this calculator? You guys go to our website, outsourceschool.com/VA calculator, and you can download it for free. We also have an awesome webinar on the website from Nathan himself that you can download and learn more about outsourcing. So another question that we get asked a lot is hiring a VA risky? And how do we reduce the risks? It's actually quite simple, but people don't really think about it that much. So if you're someone who has hired a virtual assistant in the past and it didn't work out and you're kind of scared to try it again, there are a lot of things that you should think about. And when you do these things, it actually works out really, really great for your business. So the first thing is setting expectations from the very start. Things like, hey, here are your tasks and responsibilities. I expect you to communicate with me on a daily basis over Slack, Skype, or whatever you guys use as a communication platform. Hey, emails you can respond to within 24 hours. If I Slack you, I expect you to at least read it within an hour or two if you're on shift. Facebook Messenger for emergencies. Like if you can't come in and you're in the middle of a storm or something like that, make sure that they communicate everything with you. And another important thing that to me, this is one of the most important things. You gotta build relationships with your VAs. They're not just there to work for you. They're there to work with you. They are eager to build relationships with you. They are eager to build the business with you if you give them that opportunity. I have had so many clients in the past where they just treat me as an employee and like, hey, do this task. If you're done, great. That's it. They don't talk to me about anything else. The great thing about Nathan and Connor, my favorite clients in the world, they make sure they know me outside of work, my passions, what my goals are, what my hobbies are. We talk about this weekly and we build great relationships. I can say with confidence that outside of work, Nathan and Connor are my friends. And we joke around a lot. We have monthly happy hour calls where we just play games with the entire team and build stronger bonds. And this is important for everyone in your team, not just between you and your VA, but your VA and the rest of your team as well. It's important that they understand what the other people in the team are doing so that if one of them is out for a week sick, another person in the team can come take over and say, hey, yeah, I know what Anna was working on. I can cover for a few days while she's out sick. You don't want your VA to go out sick and because they didn't really talk to anyone else in the team, no one knows what they were doing, and that causes problems. But if you build relationships with your team, and if they build relationships with each other, it's magical. Seriously, I haven't experienced this with any of my other clients before, but it works wonders. And if they feel that close bond with you, it minimizes the risks terribly because they start to care so much about your business. They'll start being passionate about it and treating the business as their own. And that's what you want. You want your VAs to come in after hours. And when you catch them, you're like, hey, what are you still doing here? You're supposed to be out, or it's supposed to be your day off. And they're like, I just had to check something, because they're passionate about the business. That is a good problem to have, really. And when you build relationships with your team and you hone their potential, push them to their limits, listen to their feedback and ideas. Some of the greatest ideas come from virtual assistants. If you just listen, they will help you build your business and make it even better. And when you give them that opportunity, you will get someone like me. You will get someone who can lead your team, who can cover operations when you want to take a week away to go to Hawaii or just spend more time with your family. You will have confidence that your operations manager, your COO, your team lead, that even if she's halfway around the world, will be responsible for making sure that your business is okay. It takes some time. You can't hire a COO, for example, on your first try. But if you hire maybe starting from general virtual assistant and you build a relationship within a year or two, you'll have someone that you can really trust within your business. And another thing that I want to discuss, we're talking about reducing risk, right? Okay, so expectations and relationships, we went through that. The third thing is the platforms. Make sure that you know where to hire good pre-vetted virtual assistants. There are a lot of places out there that will claim to have experienced virtual assistants and really no. So do research, ask around from your friends that have great virtual assistants, where they found their VAs. Just be careful. At Outsource School, we have this main system that we call Cracking the VA Code. We teach you everything that you need to know before you even make the hire. We have the whole interviewing process, the training, the management process as well, and onboarding too. We have pre-made cheat sheets, downloadable content, and some of that content is like interviewing questions and how to onboard your virtual assistants, talk about scheduling, potential issues, the communication and culture, why it's important to have onboarding. That's something that I just remembered. Okay, so the onboarding process is something that most entrepreneurs forget about. And this creates a lot of bad hires. And bad hires can cost turnover for your business. And we all know that turnover can kill businesses. So if you have an onboarding process in place, it reduces the risk of making bad hires. And like I mentioned earlier, what you usually go over in the onboarding process is scheduling issues, including computer issues, internet issues, personal issues. We also talk about the company culture, their values, and communication, setting up communication channels. All right, so going back to platforms, other platforms are like, again, your communication channels, maybe using LastPass to share your passwords. So these are things that you need to think about. And if you have any questions, by the way, and need more personal advice on how to outsource for your business, you can reach me at Anna@outsourceschool.com. So that's ANA@outsourceschool.com. That is my email. So feel free to email me anytime. I will also give you guys more information on how to contact me later on. And okay, next question is, can my virtual assistant work my time zone? I answered that already earlier today. Yes, yes. All you have to do is be very clear on your job post. Hey, I'm looking for someone to do this for me. I need them to work these certain hours. And if you set that expectation with them from the very start, they will be honest with you and they will tell you if they're able to work those hours or not. And most of the time, they will be willing to work the night shift. Like I mentioned, they're very comfortable with working the night shift. I myself, I'm recording this at 10 in the evening, and I just started my shift, right? So you can see I have a lot of energy still, so that won't be a problem. Next, we're going to discuss some interviewing tips, top interviewing tips, and some of the most common mistakes made when interviewing. So we have an interviewing process called the CARE interviewing process. We focus on communication, attitude, red flags, and experience. And I always say that no matter how experienced or skilled the virtual assistant may be, if they don't have the right communication skills and the right attitude, it won't work in the long run. Yes, you'll probably have a good 6 months or a year working with them, but you'll start to see an attitude, and you don't want to invest a year of your time working with them and them getting to know the business if you're just going to have to replace them because they won't listen to your feedback. They don't take constructive criticism. They don't have passion to learn more and to grow. And you want someone who is eager and positive and wants more responsibilities and wants to grow within your business and has the right attitude, right? Can take constructive criticism or will give you feedback and ideas that'll be good for your business. So we focus a lot on communication and attitude. And during our interviewing process, we have questions designed to spot red flags up front. Red flags meaning like potential issues that can come up during your relationship or while the VA is working for you. We also do our interviews over Slack, not video chat. I know it sounds funny, but it works better than video calls. So one of the reasons behind this is Filipino virtual assistants are shy at first, at least at first, and they may not be able to give you their best answers, and you won't be able to see their attitude and their character over the call because they're just so nervous. They won't be able to say what they really want to say. And we found that doing it through chat, you can really see great answers from them. They won't be so shy in answering. It works really well. You'll be able to focus as well on their communication skills if it's through chat. You'll be able to gauge how fast they respond to you, and you'll be able to spot any red flags. Sometimes you'll miss it over a call or you won't be able to remember, especially if you forget to hit the record button. But over chat, you can always go over the conversation again so you can see. Next part is the onboarding process. I mentioned earlier that this is where you guys set expectations as well. You talk about the schedule, you talk about issues, you talk about your company culture and values. You talk about what you won't allow in your company, like drama, or you won't allow them to go on leave without any notice. And then they just come back, say, hey, I'm sorry, I was out for 2 days. There was a storm. No, even if they're in the middle of a storm, they lose power, they lose internet, they will be able to send you a message, even if it is on Facebook. Me and our team were hit with a really, really, really bad storm last year. And we had water in our house up to our chest. And I was still able to message Nathan and Connor saying, hey, we're in the middle of a storm. I'm really sorry, but we might be out for a couple of days. And that's how a virtual assistant is supposed to to be like. They're supposed to communicate with you, and they're supposed to have the courtesy of informing you if anything's up. Even if they're sick or an emergency came up, they can text you on the road, right? Hey, there's an emergency. I got to go to the hospital or something like that. Quick messages. Okay, so onboarding process is very important. This is where you set the expectations, talk to them about their task, make sure they're comfortable with the work, getting their confirmation about everything you told them before they start working for you. This is their chance to back out as well if they don't agree with everything that you said. After you hire them, what do? You got to train them. You got to manage them. So we focus on training them. We have a great training process. It's called our SSS technique. It stands for Study, Sample, Show. Create great standard operating procedures for them. A combination of text, video, and images is always a good thing. It's the best way for them to learn. This way, you don't spend 8 hours of your time training the virtual assistant. You got better things to do. Why not give your standard operating procedures, anything about your business, documents, links for them to learn on their own? And then you just come back to them and say, hey, do you have any questions? Test them on their knowledge, have them do some work, and then offer feedback on how you would do things better. Management is the more trickier part, but it's quite complex. But actually, I should say it's easy. It's just there's a lot in management. The day-to-day communication, the meetings, the weekly meetings, the one-on-one meetings, the quarterly meetings, what to do during these meetings, what information to give your virtual assistant. One tip I can give you guys is be very open and honest with your team about everything that's going on within the business. If your business is doing good, not so good, what are your goals for this quarter? What you need to hit, how you need to do that, what needs to be done in order to hit those goals, and get them involved in that. And this is why weekly meetings are very important, because you get them to hit those goals with you. You give them a certain amount of responsibility on their part, because really you can't scale and build a business on your own. You do actually need help. It'll be great for them to know that you value them and you appreciate their hard work within the business. It'll motivate them to work harder and help you build the business, if that makes sense. One more thing that I remembered, a lot of people ask about the 13-month pay. What is the 13-month pay? Okay, so the 13-month pay is where we get a whole month's worth salary. That's our 13-month pay bonus, usually given before Christmas, but it's nothing mandatory. You don't need to give your VAs a 13-month bonus, but we do at Outsource School. We also teach our members to do so as well, but to split it up into two. You can give a smaller portion of it in the middle of the year, and then the bigger portion at the end of the year to thank them for how hard they've worked for your business. One thing I forgot to mention when building relationships with your virtual assistants, it's very important that they hear that you appreciate them, you value them, and it goes a long way. It motivates them terribly. Aside from the bonuses, we also recommend giving your VAs a small raise every 6 to 12 months. It can be 0.25, 0.5, $1 raise per hour, but it also depends on how well your business is doing. So if your business isn't doing well, you can just say, hey, we want to give you a raise. It's going to be a small one right now because the business isn't doing too well, but we just want to make sure that you're taken care of. Treat them like family. They want to be treated like family. And this is also one of the best ways to get them to buy into the idea to treat their business as their own. And then, it just goes in a cycle, communicating with them, setting expectations again, meeting with them, giving them more responsibility, listening to them. One more thing. So listening to them is very important. Asking them how they're doing, asking them if they feel burnt out, asking them if there's other parts of the business that they would love working on. Maybe they have other skills that you don't know about. Just make sure that they're still 100% happy with what they're doing and they're not burned out or they're not bored. It's important that your virtual assistants are enjoying their work. So I'm about to wrap up. I know there's a lot there that I didn't really explain in depth. If you want the exact hiring process, if you want to learn how to outsource, master outsourcing, check out Outsource School. OutsourceSchool.com is our website. We got a free webinar there. We've got the VA calculator. You can also schedule a call with me directly to learn more about how we can help your business and how to outsource using virtual assistants. You can outsource anything in the operations and the marketing side of your business. We have over 20 playbooks that revolve around helping you outsource the work. And we add more content every month. We got coaching sessions as well. We have other great bonuses. We also have a hiring service where we write the job post for you. We look for candidates for you. We interview them for you. This is only available for Outsource School members, but if you guys are interested in learning more and if you need additional help, please feel free to reach out to me. Again, my email is Ana, ANA, at outsourceschool.com. My booking link is outsourceschool.com/consultation. So you can book a call with me there. I'm going to hand over some notes to Kevin to give you guys in case you need it or in case you can put it in the notes. But thank you so much for listening to me today. And I hope you got some value out of that. And I really enjoy it as well. Have a great day, guys.